Hello, and happy Straturday, friends. Psyberry here with another Darkest Dungeon How to Use guide. I just want to say real quick, thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. And share this guide with a friend if you think they'll enjoy it. Thanks everyone for all of your support, I really appreciate it. If you would like to help the channel and support the channel more, you can visit patreon.com/mastercyberry or just subscribe here on the channel and tune in. Okay, enough bullshit. Alright, today we are going to take a deep dive into how to play the Stargazer. The Stargazer was released just last month in January 16th, and it was updated last on January 29th. The canon name for this class is Tycho. Let's start with the credits. Shay did the coding and the sound design and the writing. Joel Balrock, did the sprite art. Anonymous Koala and Aiden worked on the animations. Sasiji or Sass did the additional coding. Moonkanen made the Sunward Isles trinket art. Zap did the promotional art. And Methusiel and... this one's a doozy. 345861250 did the translations. Alright. Let's start off by just analyzing the base stats and see what we can determine from there. First of all, we've got a max HP that starts off at a 17 at base resolve and goes up by 3 at each level to a total of 29 HP at max resolve. This is pretty frail. This is antiquarian stats, like, directly. This is the same stats the antiquarian gets as she levels up. So you're gonna want to keep them protected. You don't want them taking a lot of hits. He has some tricks up his sleeve to accomplish that, but it's also not a bad choice to... as a backup plan, have somebody in your party that can guard an ally, or maybe equip trinkets on himself that will allow stealth. Dodge, however, starts at a 15 and moves all the way to a 35 at max resolve. This is Jester Dodge status. This is tied for the best in the base game. It doesn't get better than that. Speed starts at a 5, moves to a 6 at Resolve level 3, and finally a 7 at Resolve level 5. It's a normal tracking as far as speed growth, and they've got the same speed value as a Highwayman or a Houndmaster would. It's above average. It's kind of nice to have something in these three stats that is close to that average, because you've got really low max HP but really high dodge, so it just makes you the speed is, it's refreshing to see something that's kind of average. Let's see, accuracy is normal, prod is normal, the crit is a 5% at base resolve and moves to a 9 at max resolve. This is one of the best in the game. It is the same as like the Hellion, the Highwayman. It's the second best ranked dodge. And here I've got Deadly on this one, so it's going to get a little bit more crits. Did I say dodge? Disregard that. Let's see, and damage. We are looking at a beginning damage rank of 4 to 7 damage at base resolve. And at max, he actually does 8 to 13 damage. So, how does that compare? I'm trying to think. It's a little bit above, like, a Houndmaster or a Jester. It starts off at the same values, is why it's a little unique. It'll start off at, like, Plague Doctor, Houndmaster, Jester, attack damage-wise. And then it'll progress to, like, a little under a Highwayman, more or less, but just a little better than the Houndmaster is what to take away from this. I'll put it a little bit above average in the damage category, and that's just because, like, it'll track a little bit better in the higher levels. Yeah, before we jump into the combat skills, it's important to note the crit effect. This character has a crit effect that will slightly boost dodge, not the normal generic dodge boost, and it will add a high chance of shuffle, like the stumble status affliction, to the target. So if you're using them, you'll see some of these moves here later. They have the ability to move the target around. If your goal is to get them in specific places, crits may thwart you, but honestly, his reach is so good that you're not going to have a problem hitting with this guy, as long as your other party members have a backup plan if they can't reach somebody. So keep that in mind when you're building a party. So let's take a look at the combat skills. You'll notice here that he's got everything unlocked, and that's because he's a transformation class. He starts off in pensive mode, and he will switch to transcended mode depending on how you use him in combat. Yeah, let's start over here. Alright, Flux can be used from any rank, and it can be used on the front 2 ranks of the enemy party. It is a melee attack that does default dodge and damage, and has an accuracy base of 90. This is a full power move, and it causes knockback 1 rank with 100% base, and it will 40% of the time transcend you to the other mode. This happens fairly often, the transcend part, and depending on what you want out of that combat or out of that next couple turns from the Stargazer, this is a good thing. The knockback is really handy. The 100% base is high enough that if it's just a generic enemy and not like one that mains the front line, you'll probably move them fairly often. The second ability is Conjunction. This one is kind of a unique friendly skill, which I really dig. It's also usable from any rank, and it will 40% of the time transcend you to the other mode. You guard an ally, and you force that ally to guard you as well. So you're taking the other person's incoming hits, and both you and the target get a plus 10 to your dodge. I believe at max progression. Look here. Yeah, this turns all the way up to a 20. So this is really handy. And it will also heal the target just for a little bit of HP. So if you got a guy who took an incoming hit, maybe he got critted from max HP, and now he's what I consider bloodied or under half his HP. This is not a bad way to follow that turn up. Because you can give them a little survivability. If they target the same guy, chances are he's marked. Let's just call it what it is. Chances are he's marked if he took a crit. Yeah, so if they try to attack him again, they're instead going to be attacking the Stargazer, and the Stargazer's dodge is going to be insane because he used this move. And vice versa, if someone targets the Stargazer, they'll be guarded by whoever, and by then, hopefully, the healing has taken effect. The third combat skill is Enlightenment. It is only usable from the back 2 ranks, and you choose an ally for this skill. You target an ally, and there's a 66% chance at the first resolve level to heal them for 4 stress damage. I believe at max that percent changes to 84, which is actually really good. You can almost count on it, and it will stress heal 8 by then. So what you do is you have a pretty high chance of stress healing that target, and it gives a unique, for lack of a better term, buff, like a status affliction on that target. And so when that target uses a friendly skill, the next 2 times they use a friendly skill, it will empower their friendly skill and stress heal themselves 4. So let's say you use this on a jester, for instance. Let's say you've got a guy who's very, very close to affliction, and you want your Jester to start buffing him, but your Jester's a little stressed out too. So this guy's turn comes up, use Enlightenment on the Jester, and the Jester starts singing his ass off to save the other person's life. They're also going to recover some stress. They might take a -4 hit initially to the stress, which is nice, and then both the times they stress heal somebody, they're going to take another stress reduction. This is a good way to kind of empower friendly skills in your party. This even works if you've got a bounty hunter and you want to... I'm sorry. Not bounty hunter. Man-at-Arms. I don't know why I said that. If you want to set up like a guard from the Man-at-Arms, or if you want to buff everybody from Man-at-Arms, there are a lot of classes in this game who have friendly skills. So this is quite helpful, and if you build a party who's everyone's kind of got a friendly skill, it's a hush-hush way to kind of guarantee some stress healing is being targeted to them, without necessarily focusing on it. The fourth ability is Singularity. It is a ranged attack usable from the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th rank, and it is usable on the opposite 2nd, 3rd, or 4th rank as well. It is a ranged attack with an accuracy base of 90, a damage modifier of -33%, and a crit mod of +4% crits. It bypasses and de-stealths stealthed enemies, and if you are in pensive mode, it will pull the target 2 squares toward you with 100% base, and has a 40% base to transcend. If you are transcendent, it has a 110% chance to stun, and an extra +5 crit, and a 40% chance you become pensive again. So this is obviously usable in both modes. It is highly useful in the second mode. It's not the most powerful move in the world, but 66% damage is not bad either, especially if you're getting a pull or a stun out of it as well. I find that if I'm in the first mode, these are the 4 that will be useful. I find I use this fairly often, but more often than not, I'm starting a combat with either Flux or Conjunction. Unless I'm really behind the ball stress healing, then I will start off just running straight at that. And then I also find out that after turn 1, that 40% chance, a lot of times it just pumps me right into Transcended mode, where this is still useful, it just changes how it's useful. So yeah, we'll kind of get more into that and comparing it to the other Transcended mode attacks here in a little bit. The fifth ability is Void Manifestation. It is usable from the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th rank, and it is usable on any target. It is a ranged attack with an accuracy base of 80, so it will miss fairly often. So if you want to use this and utilize this, I recommend you bring something that is going to add to his accuracy. But anyway, it has a damage modifier of +80%. Is that also the same at max? Yep. I thought that used to progress from a lower number. Maybe that got changed. And has a +8% crit modifier. You have a 66% chance when you use this to become pensive again, and it will apply stun at an 80% base to yourself. This character does not have a high stun resistance. It's 10 at default, and I believe max level it has a 120% chance to inflict stun. So keep that in mind. You will probably lose a turn unless you have a way to erase that stun if you use this shit. However, 180% damage is a lot. That's a lot. So it might be probably the most useful just character deleting move on his moveset. Call from Beyond is the 6th ability. It is useful from the 3rd or 4th rank, and it targets every rank on the opposing side. It is a ranged attack with an accuracy base of 90. We're back to that default good attack accuracy number. Has a damage mod of negative 33% again, and it targets everybody, so that's a lot of damage output. It is a crit mod of minus 5%, and it is armor piercing. On a hit, it will have a 100% base chance to afflict shuffle on the targets. It will de-stealth them, break their guard, and when you use this, you have a 40% chance to become pensive again. It will also clear enemy corpses. This is a really good AoE. When you factor in the damage is pretty damn high. The crit, it's a negative 5. That's fairly normal. I believe that progresses all the way up to baseline. Nope, negative 1. But the armor piercing is where this really shines, I find. If you go into the Weald or someplace where there's a lot of just prot, even to the back lines on the enemy ranks, this is gonna, like, eviscerate somebody who's already taken a hit or two. And it's gonna hit everyone else, too, for a decent chunk of damage. I find that if you want to run like a trinket that will add, like bleed or blight to the target, this can be really effective. But you can't really count on being in transcendent mode enough for this to always be useful. And turn 1, you're always going to be pensive anyway. So it's a unique situation, and it's a really good move, and I just also find that I often use Singularity or Void Manifestation because of just how good they are. And the final ability they have is Lucidity. It's a free action move that you use on yourself, and it will make you become pensive and stress heal you for 6 stress. The fact that this is a free action makes this kind of unique. If you are in the last turn of the combat, let's say you've got Blight or Bleed on the last guy, and Stargazer's turn comes up, and you are in Transcendent mode, you could just delete him with either of these, but you could also play it future style. You can literally just free action, change to pensive mode, stress heal yourself, and then choose one of these attacks in pensive mode, which have a chance to transform you back, and could kill. And it's all one turn. So what might happen, you might find yourself in a situation where you use this, you stress heal, you attack, they transform, and the battle ends, and you transform back and stress heal again. So you can kind of, for lack of a better term, cheat the system if you're aware of your win condition. If you know they're going to die anyway, whether you get an attack off or whether you hit something else in order to get like a little bit of HP heal or a stress heal on an ally as well. Yeah, it's a decent way to get some stress heal and get a kill on the last turn. Okay, so those are the combat abilities. Let's take a look at the camping skills real quick. It's got the generic Encourage and Wound Care and Pep Talk that almost every other class has. That's not weird to see. The first unique camping skill is Chart the Skies. It is a time cost 3 skill that reduces the Stargazer stress by 15 and has a 15% scouting chance for 4 battles. So this is a decent way, if you've got the points for it, to both affect your scouting chance and stress heal a bit. The next ability is Astral Projection. It is a time cost 3 ability, and it is self-only. It will reduce the stress the Stargazer takes by 20% for the next 4 battles. And it will it'll take an additional minus 20% stress if in Transcendent mode for 4 battles. But if this character is afflicted, it will add 15% to the stress taken. This is a decent way to make sure that in the future fights, Stargazer does not take a lot of stress damage. Time cost 3, you're gonna find you're gonna be in position to use this fairly often at camp. If there's nothing else to do and you've got a couple of buff things on your enemies, this is not a bad one to grab. It's not necessarily as useful as if you're going to give like all companions dodge boost, for instance. If you got something like that, I would prioritize it above this, but this is actually pretty good too. The next camping skill is Arcane Insight. It is a time cost 2 ability that will reduce the stress of the Stargazer by 10 and apply a bunch of buffs to yourself based on condition. It'll add 5% crit for every 25 stress you have on you for 4 battles when you use this. And if you are afflicted, it will give you a bonus 5% crit. So let's say you have, you've just been afflicted. Perfect time to camp, because you're going to camp as long as you don't go overboard eating a whole shit ton and you use this early on in the camping session. Your stress will probably be above 75 when you use this, giving you a grand total of plus 20% crit for 4 battles. So if you get afflicted, not the end of the world. I would choose this time to camp, and this character doesn't really mind being afflicted, but it is sometimes a problem. We'll kind of dive into the affliction in a little bit. The final camping skill that the Stargazer has is Esoterica. It is a time cost 3 camping skill, and it will cause the party to ignore stealth for the next 4 battles, and you choose one companion. So the one you click on in the camping will receive twice the resolve experience for the rest of the dungeon. I believe, the librarian has an effect like this, just in general. She can basically increase somebody's ability to level up. So this is kind of a fun way to kind of get that effect, but also ignore stealth for 4 battles, which is actually really useful, especially if you're going to build a party with Senua, who I just recently covered. Senua causes everyone in your party, aside from her, and every enemy to become stealthed for 2 rounds. This is just a nice way for that to not affect your party for the next 4 combats. So, camping skills done. Yay! Let's talk about that affliction. When you reach 100 stress with the Stargazer, 100% of the time, he will become refracted. It is a custom affliction. Let's see. It drops all your resistances by about, I think it's 15%, something like that. It'll drop your max HP a little bit as well. And your accuracy will go down a smidge. However, you will also gain pretty hefty bonuses to your damage, speed, and dodge, which is exactly what this character wants, especially when they're in trouble. So they kind of become a little bit more of a glass cannon, but bleed and blight and stun and move resistance are going to drop pretty considerably. Now, if you don't factor in like the act outs and the chance that he has to stress other party members, or even the chances that if someone else is looting stuff, he's going to stress them out. If you don't factor those in, it's definitely way better to be afflicted than not. But you find that you can kind of play him either way, but the boosts you're going to get to certain stats when afflicted are definitely worthwhile. If you want to play that way, he's pretty good at that. So, role-wise, what is the Stargazer? I kind of tend to think of him as a support class first, with some, like, instant ability to do certain support roles, but more often than not, he's moving a target, or stunning a target, or killing somebody, like cleaning up a kill. So, kind of damage is his role, and kind of support. It really depends on how you want to use him. If he's in the first mode, half his moves are support moves. And you've got the tech ability to kind of heal a guy in a pinch, and add boost to the dodges onto your party members, which is nice. And then one of your other utility skills is just to stress skill, and if they have other ways to do friendly skills themselves, it will like exacerbate the situation. Like this stress healing ability becomes 3 times as useful statistically. So it's kind of a unique role, and I prefer to look at him as a even mix between support and damage. Let's see, synergy, what do we want to keep our eyes on? The only thing I would honestly try and keep in my mind to remember when building a party with this class is to make sure you have at least a couple of the other characters in the party with at least one friendly skill on their moveset. And not just like unlocked, but lock it into position. So that if they just get ramped up by stress in one fight and you really didn't have a lot of warning, you can really do a lot of... you can dig into that pretty hard just by targeting them with enlightenment and letting them use their friendly skill a few times while the other party members take out the opponent. Alright, quirks to keep in mind. If you are planning on deleting motherfuckers with Void Manifestation, which I recommend you do at least once. I've definitely critted for someone somewhere in the 40s with my more max level Stargazer, so that's fun. But that stun chance to self, you can tell without any quirks on this one, that's a 70% chance in most situations that he's going to stun himself for a round after he's done with his turn, which is going to stay on a long time. So if enemies target stunned characters or have certain effects that happen on stunned characters, he's going to be vulnerable to that kind of shit. But if you plan on using Void Manifestation a lot when you're in that second mode, I would recommend trying to get Prismatic Solidity to land on him. That's the one you can get from thing from the stars that will boost stun defense by 25%. Otherwise, let's see, I locked Hard Noggin on my level 5 one because that 15% stun resistance comes in handy. At this level, that brings it to 75 without a trinket backing it up. Usually I'll switch this out for a trinket that'll help if I plan on using Void Manifestation a lot. And its base is 120%, and I got a 75. That drops the, 70% down to 55. It helps, but it's not all that good yet. Yeah, other than that, all of his attacks, it's not like they're all ranged, but most of them are. So if you're planning on boosting a type of damage range, that's probably the best way to go, because the worst you're going to get is 66% damage, and the other 180 will go up pretty large amounts, pretty big quantities if you boost that. See, what are the quirks? Dodge, obviously. It's not really worth it to give him anything that boosts max HP as a quirk. It's not really worth it to lock that, because it's only gonna... because they're all percentage based, and when you have a low value like the Antiquarian or the Stargazer does for HP, it's not going to benefit a lot. You're actually going to benefit a hell of a lot more if you do that on a Leper or a Crusader than you would on a Stargazer. You may feel like they're getting better, but at best, HP-wise, they might be close to a Grave Robber when you're done, and I mean, that's not all that high. It just isn't. So at best, they're gonna be below average at HP. It's just better to lean into his strengths with quirks than to try and cover up for his weaknesses. Speed buffs are the only exception to that. Speed is a little above average, but you can really transform that into a pretty high number just by having Luminous or Quick Reflexes on him and trinketing a little bit onto that speed, all of a sudden he's got a 10 speed score and he's going first 70% of the time. So, I believe we've talked about this class enough. Trinket mentions there's a lot of new classes, man, and I'm trying to learn how they all work and level them all up so that I can cover them all. And there's just, this last month, honestly, has released, like 7 new classes that I probably should cover. So trinket-wise, I don't really have a good idea of what to put on him yet as far as his own custom trinkets. I personally prefer to run him with a dodge trinket, and brass knuckles are perfect because it'll add to the stun skill chance if you're going to use that, and it will add 15% damage to all of his attacks. So it's good. And usually I'll trinket him with, if you've got room for it, trinket him with something that either protects him against stun, or that's just gonna make him better, crit more, or dodge more. But we are gonna, real quick, do a couple of battles, highlighting how he works. I don't need to worry about money anymore. Alright.
To prosecute our war against the swine, we must first scout their squalid homes.
The worst kind of homes. Squalid ones. Alright, let's go do this dead-end bullshit. We're gonna loot this later, because we're coming back through here. Hopefully we run into 3 fights all over here. It's looking good already. Alright. This guy has a lot of stun resistance, so if we're gonna stun at all, we're probably gonna target him. Let's see. Let's get some blight going, I think. Just one of you, huh? Alright. We'll start out with Flux, because it does a decent chunk of damage. We can maybe break through some of that prot. Maybe get a move out of it. Nope, not this time. Oh god, Star Wars quotes. Don't hit somebody. Oh god. Okay, that's fine. I've been running the buried primarily with her affliction so that I can test all of the dialogue boxes and such.
A decisive pummeling.
Plus, the damage bonus is pretty considerable. Alright.
The horror.
Let's see. Well, I'm gonna remove the horror from you. That would be nice, actually. Thank you. I don't mind her being afflicted. I'm not gonna try and get rid of that. I'm testing it. But the less stress value, the better. And actually, I find if you've got a good stress healer in this party like this, you can keep her value down, but higher than everyone else, so that it's targeted more often than not with stress moves. Okay, so I'm gonna do that. Let's see if we can get Transcendent to proc. We're gonna try and pull this guy forward, maybe get a kill out of it.
Impressive.
Crit did not kill, sadly. Hey, Transcendent, we go. Now this floating pose, my god, wouldn't it be awesome and timely to have a skin for Wanda, the Scarlet Witch, with this guy? That'd be intense. I would fucking love that.
Well struck.
I'm not really up for it, timing-wise, or, like, probably skill either, to be fair. But it'd be a cool skin.
Their cursed champion falls.
Alright. Combat 1 over. Did not get to use Void Manifestation. Maybe we'll get to use it next time. If I had to say what my favorite skill on him was, it'd probably be that one. It would. I like things that hit really, really hard and have a chance to take out an enemy, like, almost every time. That's why I like the Grave Robber so fucking much. Alright, let's pass this.
Such blockages are unsurprising.
Dig our way through.
These tunnels predate even the earliest settlers.
Yeah, exactly 3 fights this way. Couldn't have worked out more perfect.
Safety.
Alright, let's see if I get lucky and get into Transcendent mode on the first turn.
Left unanswered. The ground quakes.
Alright, 40% chance, let's take it. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna hit you. Because you'll die to the blight. And then your body will go away and everyone will scoot forward. It's just a good use of that move. Oh no, they stunned him for the second turn. That's no good. I don't think these guys will last much longer than that. Here, I'm gonna cut through his armor, try and blight his ass. It did not work. Alright, well, let's stall a little bit to try and buy a turn for him. And honestly, only if he's the only one who dies in the interim, it might be worth it to use the attack everybody move, just to see how much it does against this guy's prot. So I think I'm gonna do that. That's my goal. But he's got to, you know, I've got to stall that long is the problem. Here. This helps me stall. Oh no, I blighted myself. 6 damage. The 6 damage blight. Self-inflicted. That's rough. That's what happens when you're addicted to chemicals, yo. Well, fuck it. I didn't feel like waiting a turn. Just didn't work out. Who needs to stress heal most? You do. Alright. Well, he's got the same prot value, so I can tell by the damage number how much... God, I don't remember the name of the move. Call from Beyond would have done. So when you can do a handful of damage like that, and the prot really doesn't matter, that's hella bonus. Anybody like losing speed? You're losing dodge. I can't have that. Let's heal that blight. Shits and giggles, let's do that too. Dun, 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 dun. Alright, third fight. Let's do this. Hey, you pig bastards. We came here, we're looking for a friend. Peppa? Yeah, Peppa Pig. Yep, that's the one. Oh, that's rough. Run-up targeting is a bitch. Okay, so... Well, I do not want him to get really any stress turns off. Probably gonna have to deal with it anyway, because the crit's not gonna kill. But I did get that crit, though. And the proc of the shuffle. And that dodge bonus is also nice. My wounds are mounting. Yeah, I should probably focus fire heal you, huh? Wait, eat a butt. You can't just mark my healer because you want to. Oh no. Maybe they can. Maybe they can do whatever they want because this is their combat.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles. Dazed, reeling, about to break.
Yikes-os. We'll all die if you do not focus. Okay, alright. Don't gotta be a asshole about it. Alright, this is what I was talking about before, to try and get some extra stress healing. We're gonna lucidity. And then I'm gonna try and wipe the guy out.
A singular strike.
The 1 HP. They do this all the time to me, in especially on my LP. It's rough. I should fucking healed. God damn it. Off screen in the next combat, that will have to be my focus. Hopefully I don't fucking forget. No, we're gonna go with you. Oh my god. Hey, Mrs. Miss Pants. Stop missing. It's probably not healthy to miss as much as you do.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
Alright, and the transform did proc, and so we got that stress heal at the end of combat as well. It was a -10 both times, which is considerable. So we used that last turn to basically double our stress healing on the Stargazer. Keep that in mind as a little trick to keep under your belt if times get rough. But otherwise, that's really all the time that I have to spend on showing you how the Stargazer plays. So keep them in mind, especially if you're going to build a party that just needs a little bit of nudge in the subtle stress healing department and also the damage department. So thanks for watching. We're going to have another Let's Play on Wednesday, and then next Saturday we're covering another class that hopefully I've learned how to use by then. Hopefully I did the Stargazer justice. I love this class, so yeah, thanks for watching. Stay frosty.